Today, we're going to give you the hacks to keep going with your daily practices when all you want to do is quit. Welcome to the Deliberate Life Show, the podcast to help you put yourself in the driver's seat. I'm Sally Edwards, and I'm here with my big sister, Dana Middleton. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Sally. Hey, we're talking about practices again. Last week we talked about affirmations, how important they are. We believe they're so important. They have helped us get books published, bring in more money, sell a business. That's why we're talking about them, because when you devote to daily practices, you change your life.
Yeah, you change yourself from the inside out, and then the outside starts to change, and it
Yeah.
it it is worth it to stay with the practices. So we're going to be going into what some of the pitfalls are that may come up, some things that might stop us, and how important it is that if we know about them, we can keep going.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
first one, did you know
yeah.
that most people give up on affirmations and other daily practices by day 4?
I do because you've told me that.
Well, if you started them last week when we were talking about it, what happened? Did you get to day 4 and go, "Hmm, I don't really see any results yet. What's the point of keeping going?" Or you know what? The more insidious one is like, "I can just skip a day. I gotta get going. I can just skip a day. I'll come back to it tomorrow."
Yeah, I'm busy. I've got other things to do. This won't matter if I just take today off.
And I guarantee you, if
Yeah.
you take today off, you're taking tomorrow off. That's how this works. It really is about the first 3 days are easy. In fact, I'm gonna say right now, they don't even count because they're so easy. But when you get to day 4, you're gonna start getting that voice that says, "Oh, I can skip a day. Oh, whatever." And that's when it's most important to double down and say, "Oh, no, it's hard today. So this is a day I need to do it because this is the day that I am building a neural pathway toward this affirmation." And that is why it's so important to keep going when it feels hard.
Yeah, because I agree that the first few days you've got that momentum, you've got that excitement, you've got that, yeah, I'm going to go do it. And so those days are easy. But when that is gone, when that initial momentum or that initial excitement, whatever it may be, that's getting us going, when that goes away, that's when day 4 is really where we're starting the practice. That's where we're dedicating and devoting ourselves to doing it no matter what. That if we keep going, there will be a payoff because anything we do repetitively has a cumulative effect.
Well, it
Yeah.
takes time, right?
Yeah.
And this is when
Hmm.
you're doing daily practices, it's like building a muscle.
Yeah.
And there will come a time after a week or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4
Hmm.
that it would just be a no-brainer. It's just like, "Oh, yeah, this is just what I do." And that's when you start to gain momentum, and momentum is a secret sauce to everything, because when you have momentum, you just get to things and your life starts to flow, and it starts to just kind of anchor that new
Hmm.
affirmation, that new thought that's important to you. How you wanna feel, what you wanna do, just like
Yeah.
the feeling you want to build inside. And we really want to stress this. It starts first. When you're doing an affirmation, it starts on the inside. I had a client yesterday. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
She's been doing affirmations for quite a while, and something all of a sudden changed. And she goes, "I can't see it in the world yet, but I feel it inside." She's like, it was this huge bubble of happiness. She could just feel that things had changed. And she goes, "Am I being delusional?" And I said, "Absolutely not. You are, I mean, it's perfect because you have done all these things to get to here. And there were so many days where it didn't add up. It didn't seem to mean anything until suddenly it really has meant something." And I'm so excited now for her to see what happens on the outside. But I take it as the win when you feel it on the inside, because you will feel the change.
Yeah, but it takes that consistent practice, and it's so important to know about the day 4 or maybe day 5 or 6 or wherever it comes up,
Yeah.
but to know that that's gonna come so that you don't believe it, so that "Oh, okay, that's the resistance coming up.
Yeah.
That's where, I know what this is. You're not gonna trick me. I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna keep going." That is what you and I have found is so important to be aware of it, because then we know it's kind of if you know what's gonna come, you can prepare for it, and that's why it's so important to be aware of it so that we can work through the resistance and keep going.
Well, and speaking of
Yeah.
resistance, that's the
Mhm.
other thing, right? It's all
Yeah.
about resistance,
Yeah.
resistance and sabotage.
Mhm.
If you've ever read Stephen Pressfield's book, The War of Art, he talks about whatever's important to you, you'll resist,
Yeah.
especially until you build that momentum to continue to do it. And that just happens by doing it, like doing it consistently, and for him, it would be writing it, getting the butt in the seat every
Yeah.
day. He had to do it whether he knew what he was gonna do or not, whether he felt like it or not, or feels like it or not, he still writes.
Yeah.
Um, that it was just like, it's the priority, it's important, so I get to it.
And doesn't it seem ironic that you said it, and it's true that the things that are most important to us are the things that we will resist the most, because that's change. We resist change. We resist moving forward in our lives. We want to stay safe. All of those things that we know our subconscious is kind of working against us to keep us where we are. And when we know that, it helps us know, okay, this must be really important
Yeah.
if I have big resistance coming up. So I'm going to double down because, oh my gosh, this is just giving me really great evidence that this really matters to me.
That
And
is
I'm going
so
to,
great what you just
yeah,
said. The bigger the resistance, probably the more important that
mm,
affirmation or that whatever it is that you are affirming is, and so you want to keep it up. A good thing to do when you're feeling like, "Oh, I'm too tired today," or "I'm too
mm,
busy today," or all the things that come up, is to go back to why it's so important, because the
mhm,
sabotages are gonna be, "I don't have time," "Take score too early, this is not working, why am I doing this?" My
mhm,
life might even feel worse, for a while before it feels better, because when you do affirmations, you are bringing up everything you've got inside that is in opposition to them. So if
yeah,
you feel like, if you feel on some level like I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough, and the affirmation is I'm good enough or I'm worthy, right? All that stuff inside is going to come up to say, you sure about that? I don't think so. But that's so important, because we want to clean out that inner closet. We want to bring up what's buried in there and look at it and go like, wait, is this really true? Is it really true that I'm not worthy? Maybe I
yeah.
am worthy.
Well, and I think you're absolutely right because I know from my experience that things that have been really important to me, a lot of times I have quit way too early. I haven't
Yeah.
seen them through because I believe the resistance. I believe what's telling me this isn't gonna work, and one of the ways that I've done this repeatedly is you mentioned it a minute ago, was by I use the excuse, "I'm too busy." I'm too
Yeah.
busy, and even in some ways create things to happen in my life that will give me evidence that I'm too busy. Things will continue, like, with my kids, I mean, or with work or with whatever, I'll be like, "Oh, I can't do that right now." When the most important thing that I really wanna do is stay with that practice so that I can move forward in my life, but I will use all the little things to tell me why I can't do it right now, why it won't work. All the doubts, all the fears, all those things will come up. It's like little gremlins, right? They'll come up and they'll convince you that you have every reason in the world to quit. And that's what we are so excited about talking about here, is knowing that. Because once you know it, you can, you can be like on guard, have the binoculars, be ready for them coming, and then you can help prepare for that and move through it. Do you like my binoculars?
I like it.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, be on guard, like, know it's coming and don't believe it, and
Yeah,
so
because
that
we
we
also
can.
think, well,
Yeah,
I could just do this for 1 minute a day. Because
yeah,
honestly, you can do it for 1 minute a day.
yeah.
Like one devoted
Mhm,
minute with lots of energy and just lots of emotion and lots of belief, like giving it
mhm.
everything. If you do it like that for 1 minute a day, that's your minute, and that's fantastic. You can
Yeah.
do a minute. Anybody can do a minute. You really can.
But then sometimes also your logic will come in and go, "Well, this doesn't really work. Why am I
Oh,
wasting
yeah.
my time? Why am I doing this? Who yeah, that's just a bunch of, BS, whatever."
Hooey.
And
Were you
so
about to say
hooey.
hooey? This
I
is
was
a
gonna
bunch of
say hooey.
hooey.
A bunch of hooey. I think I was gonna say hooey, and then I said, "Who knows what hooey is?" But anyway, I guess you do. Um, But yeah, I think that we that we get our me, I can be very logical and be like, "This ain't gonna work. This is, you got other things to do. Move along, unload the dishwasher, whatever." Um, but I do know, long enough to know when I work through that, when I don't listen to all the voices that tell me I'm too busy, it doesn't work, anything that may come up, fear, doubt.
Yeah.
I know that when I work through it, it does work. The consistency, like anything that we do, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's running, whether it's practicing the piano, we all know that consistency changes us. It changes the way that we think, that we feel, that we act. So that's the key.
That is the key, and,
Yeah,
we we can't stress this enough.
yeah,
Just, like, if you haven't done it before, just try. Just
that's right.
try.
Yeah,
Even if you don't believe it yet, just try, especially in the areas that are important, because we really start to we're always either going one way or the other,
yeah,
right? We're not ever staying still. If you've started to get some negative or jaded thoughts, maybe around your dreams even, you'll start to kind of slip. You'll start to go into more of a negative place. In
yeah.
order to get back on track, you have to consciously and repetitively get yourself back. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could just stay in this one little lane? But it really doesn't work that way. You
No.
have to really be driving your car, and if you're not, you're gonna drift. Like I always say with you when we're on this this podcast, that you're
She always tells
drifting.
me I drift, I
You
drift.
drift that way, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
like I'm
"You're
in the
drifting."
tide. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
please
so here's the thing.
YouTube if you're watching.
So I know it drives you crazy. But okay, so here's the thing. Here's one of the solutions. One of the things to hold on to if you find that you cut drifting away from your daily practices is don't take score too soon. I've heard, I think it was, you remember Bill Walsh, he was the coach, I believe, of the 49ers back
No, because 'cause
back in
I'm
the
not
day.
quite as sporty spice as
Okay.
you, but
But
go for
anyway,
it.
okay, so he said that it's not about the result. It's not about looking at the scoreboard. It's about continually doing the practice. Just keep putting in the reps. That's all you have to do, and you will have a great team if you
Yeah,
keep practicing in the right way. So, but a lot of coaches or people, whoever, you take score too early. You're looking at the scoreboard instead of no, just keep doing the practice. Don't give up. Even if you feel like it's getting you nowhere, trust the process. Trust
tr
to keep the practice to keep going.
I love it.
Yeah,
Trust the process,
yeah,
even though you don't have evidence yet. That is
yeah,
we are such evidence-based creatures. Like, we want the evidence now. Like, that's part of this too. Yeah, we want results right now, and we're constantly taking score. And when that happens, we can get discouraged, and that's the what's the point again, right?
yeah. So what's another way that people what can you advise that really can help?
Oh, hold on to your why.
Yeah,
Like, what's
yeah,
your why? If this change is important to you, you know, whatever the change is, or if this dream is important to you, like, that's the thing to come back to all the time. Like,
yeah,
what lights you up? What is the thing that, you'd like to get from A to B or C or Z? You don't just do it in one big leap. But that
mhm,
why is important. It could be that I want to be a more patient parent. It could
mhm,
be that you wanna make more money. You could be, a number of things that you wanna be, one that you might want to, uh, receive enthusiastic responses. I love saying that. Like, I get enthusiastic responses, because we put ourselves out there and sometimes it
mhm,
can be very vague what we get back or we don't get anything back. We want enthusiastic responses. So there are all kinds of ways, all kinds of affirmations that you can start to do on a daily basis for 60 seconds, 1 minute, and it will start to do something to you. It also might create once you start anything, sometimes it gives you clarity, and that clarity will make that affirmation evolve and
yeah,
change because you realize, "Oh, that's not quite it. This is it." So you
right.
find it as you do it, and that's what's so exciting. So your why, if you keep putting your why as as kind of your North
And
Star.
yeah, I was about to say is your carrot, right? It'll
Yeah,
keep you
as your
going with your
carrot,
practices.
that's
Like, "Oh,
why
yeah,
I'm
that's
doing
why I'm
this
doing this."
because
Yeah,
this is super important to me, and I'm
yeah.
not gonna let my laziness or my need to keep score knock me off.
Yeah. And another way to keep you going, and this is a huge one and we overlook it all the time, is
Yeah,
get support. Have an accountability buddy. Have somebody that you're gonna check in with, just a text or something, did them, whatever it might be,
yeah.
but just so you have somebody that is kinda is on your side, is waiting to hear if you did it. Maybe, y'all are responding back and forth to each other, but that support can be huge because we so often think we have to do everything ourselves. I mean,
And
I'm
also
bad about that.
and
I'm bad
pick
about thinking it's all on me. Yeah,
and we do that together, which has been
yeah,
great for us. But,
mhm,
you think about too, you want to pick somebody who's 100% invested in your affirmation or in your change. Don't
mhm,
pick somebody who's gonna be, who's gonna be like, "Well, I think that's too big of a dream," or "I think
mhm,
that's whatever." You gotta pick somebody who is safe, who is there, who is in it. And the same with you, that's
mm,
that person you can go
yeah,
to and be like, say all the big stuff. Like,
yeah,
"Oh, I'm doing this." And they're like, "Yes, you are." I mean, that's your accountability buddy, somebody
yeah.
like that. Choose wisely is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody who really is gonna be a cheerleader for you for them, and they truly, truly want your best and you as well. So there's not any, like, sabotage with that person for sure. So, but I think
Right.
that accountability piece is huge. And, find somebody that doesn't even have to be a best friend or somebody. It could just be somebody that feels safe. It could be somebody you work with. It could be, a parent that is, you're friends with their kids, or their kids are friends, you get it.
Yeah,
Whatever it may be, but you'll sense that you'll know it's a person that's the right one for you.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
that can really go a long way.
It's helpful. It's helpful to
Yeah,
get support. We do not have
yeah,
to recreate wheels. We don't have to do this on our own. We just have to, become a little more tenacious. Like
yeah,
we have to choose the lives that we want instead of thinking that if I just keep doing the same thing, it's going to happen.
yeah. Yeah, and trust, I can't say it enough, trust the process because I have been somebody who has not done that. I have been somebody who I got to A to, like, D, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is just way too far to get all the way to Z." So I'm just, why keep going? But I look back and there were times in my life earlier, had I kept going, I would have gotten there.
Yeah.
I was impatient and I now know better. And I wish I could go back, but I just got to keep moving forward from where I am now because I've learned a lot.
Well, I think
And
you're teaching your sons that too, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm working on it. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't.
that's
You
right.
know.
Well, there it is. Exactly.
Oh, that's right. But
So
yeah,
just
if
remember
only
as
they
you
would.
go into your affirmations, as you let's say you are today, okay, I quit. I quit on day 4 last week. So I'm gonna go back this week and I'm gonna choose something that's important to me. I'm gonna put it in the present tense. I'm gonna say it every day, maybe into the mirror. Maybe you'll tap on the middle of your chest, right? Under your collarbones, wherever you want to be. However you're gonna do it. Maybe you just want to say it. Maybe you're just gonna say it to yourself. That is when you can start, like, today, right now, and make it a week. Make it till you hear us next, just kind of keep let us be your accountability buddies too,
Yeah.
we're here and we wanna support you, and please put in the comments, like, "I'm working on this," and, "Yes, it feels scary because," and, "Yes, I gave up already because," and, "This is my why, and that's why I'm going back."
Yeah, and let us know when the gremlins come up and how they come up and whether you gave in or not, whether they got you. And
Listen,
if
we've
it's
all
just
given in.
listen, and if you that's what I'm saying, if you have, it's okay. We've all done it. We have, and sometimes I still have ones that'll get me and I'll go, "Oh," but that awareness is the first step. It is huge. And then forgive yourself and get back up and keep going and
Yeah, because you will get
believe.
things that
Well, I was gonna say
go ahead.
believe in the practice, believe in the process.
There will
Yeah.
be things that come up. There will
Mhm,
be things that come up that will just capsize you
mhm.
sometimes, and you're like, "Duh." It's just like, okay, that old thing is just an old thing that just came up to say, "Are you sure? Are you sure about this?" And it can feel so real and so compelling, whew, that it's tough. I had one happen this week to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." And then I realized, "Oh, this is just one of those gremlins. Calm down. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay.
And
Breathe,"
think how fast you now can move through them because of the work you've done and because you know about them.
Yeah, but
Doesn't
they
mean they
still
won't come
feel
up, but you can deal with them more quickly. when they do.
Absolutely, but when they
Yeah,
hit, they can feel as real and as
right.
sharp as ever, and
And
that's what
that won't stop. That won't
yeah,
stop. It's how we move through them when they come up,
yeah.
which is huge. So that's what we're about today, and I am so excited about the journey that we are all on, and we can't wait to hear from you and how this is working in your life.
It is a deliberate journey, people,
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
give it a try.
yeah.
And listen, next week, next Tuesday, we'll be back and we're gonna dig into this even further because there's a sneaky way to neutralize affirmations and other powerful practices that we're not even aware of most of the time. So we're gonna get into that, help you get out of that trap so that your affirmations, your daily practices can really, really land and make a difference in your life.
So if you have enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. We would appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.